And welcome back, everyone. Welcome. Oh my god. Just in time. Welcome back, everyone. Welcome back to the semifinals of the WardiTV Monday number 8. A big shout out to Miguelito. Oh my god, baby god. Thank you so much for the raid. Hope you had a great stream. Hope you had a great ladder session. But I do apologize for the downtime. We were on break for like 50 minutes. I do apologize. I did mess up. Basically, what happened is we were waiting for ByuN versus Shin game 2 to complete. I was just chilling, I was just waiting, I was just watching on Wardi's stream, just waiting for the game to finish before jumping in. But I didn't put 2 and 2 together. I just wasn't thinking straight, and I was waiting on the America server. So when the game finished and when they were getting the lobby ready, I was not on the correct server, so we missed out on game 3. We missed out on game 3, and it was a 40-minute long game. So we were, because of that extended break, that's why we had so much downtime. We lost a lot of viewers in the process, so I do apologize for that, for missing out on the ace match, but did go the way of the Terran in the end, and at least we are here for the semi-finals. And spawning in the top right-hand corner of Alkione, we have the Danish Protoss player, the Blue Protoss representing Storm Gaming. It is MaxPax. And spawning in the bottom left-hand corner, we have as a opponent, we have the South Korean Terran player, the Red Terran representing Shopify Rebellion. It is ByuN. And if you're in the chat, you know what time it is. It's time to get your gambler going. Predictions are now open. Place your bets on who you think will take the series, who you think will advance on to the grand finals. MaxPax, of course, is the best Protoss in all of Europe. He is going to be favored to make a deep run and make it to the finals. But ByuN has been defeating MaxPax as of late, has taken maps, and has taken series over the past couple of weeks as well. So I do think it's going to be a very close one between the two of them. I'm hoping for an ace match, but we'll see. We'll see what does occur. Still, overall, I do lean towards MaxPax, but ByuN, he has popped off before over the past couple of weeks, and he can do it again. See if he does. Now the Probe Scout is coming in. We do have a double gas opener out of ByuN, going for a faster factory, going for a delayed CC. With this, ByuN can open up and head into Reaper Hellion. He can go into earlier tank production, Widow Mine drop, earlier Cyclone as well. ByuN has options with how he wants to approach this, and MaxPax does confirm with the Probe Scout that 2 gases have indeed been taken, that it's going to be a little bit more of a tech-heavy start by ByuN. Oh boy. Here we go. Also, shout out to all those in the chat as well. I see SC2 Full. ¿Qué tal? ¿Cómo estás, Señor Jaime Sausage? Good to see you. Good to see you. I see Kalusti in the chat, later Chrononaut, the Andorial, and many others as well. Bienvenidos. I do recommend tuning into the VODs. We had a lot of fun making it here to the semifinals. It is just a shame that we had like almost an hour-long break. I do apologize for that downtime. It was my mistake. It was my bad. Just waiting in the wrong server, and we missed the lobby because of that. But at least, you know, smooth sailings from here on forward. We should be able to cover both semifinals and the grand finals thereafter as well. So 3 series remaining here in the tournament. Clem, of course, is waiting for the winner of Trap and Cure. And by the time we wrap up this series, we should have the upper semis ready for us. Here we go. For the time being, though, Stargate opener. It's going to be a Stargate opener out of MaxPax, not a Twilight Council. Interesting. MaxPax, I feel like he is known for his Blink Stalker aggression and Blink Stalker micro, but this time he is avoiding that, going for the initial Stargate, potentially going for a Phoenix opener instead, or Oracle. Meanwhile, ByuN back at home, getting into his 1-1-1. No add-on stop. The factory is thrown down a little bit further back instead. Reactor's going to be sticking with the racks, and does open up reactor to Reaper Hellion, but just the 2 Reapers and 1 Hellion is moving out across the map to apply some pressure and to scout his opponent, as ByuN is in the dark. He did not SCV scout, and he did go reactor first. So ByuN is unaware of what's going on. We'll dive into the main. Double Reaper into that main base. No Sim City. It looks like ByuN, he doesn't quite commit though. Does pull away, only saving 1 Reaper. Meanwhile, the Hellion does hit the natural, and it will threaten the mineral line as well. Does give it into the main. Phoenix is revealed, and now ByuN is fully aware of the Stargate opener. And on top of that is where the Phoenix is where it's not going to be an Oracle. Phoenixes are now moving out. Hellion should be cleaned up. Doesn't get much damage done. Does soften up some of those probes, but no major kills, no major damage. As back at home, Cyclone production has begun. Widow Mines are getting in position as well. Ooh, speaking of, does go off. Does soften up the first Phoenix, not bad. First Phoenix takes a lot of hits. Reaper once again does threaten to dive into the main, but is going to be hunted down by the Phoenixes. So the follow-up scatter is going to be denied. We can see MaxPax is looking to embrace Phoenix Colossus. I feel like we rarely see MaxPax go for this. I mean, in general, rarely see him go Phoenix. But it's Stargate into Phoenix, into a Robo, into potentially Robotic Spay, into Colossus. Something a little bit more old school. Ooh, Mind Shot goes off. Oh, these Phoenixes are getting very low, very softened up. 2 of them deep in the red. And that means that ByuN's eventual move out can hit that much harder. So now ByuN, he's just focusing on map control. Third TC is on the way, on location. So ByuN just focusing on his economy, is building up an army, but isn't really looking for any kind of major push yet. Is getting to his 3-1-1, settling to his third, focusing on defending back at home. Phoenix as they move out once again. They're actually looking a little bit more exposed, but there is now Vikings, Cyclones, more Marines. ByuN should be able to respond in time. One SCV does not go down. ByuN not losing anything. ByuN, calm down. Does defend me. Well, we spoke about Phoenix Colossus, and there it is. There is the Bay on the way for MaxPax, so it is going to be Colossus production on the horizon. Again, very standard and very old school as well. I'll be honest, despite how robust Phoenix Colossus can be, we rarely see it nowadays, at least when it comes to this level of play. When it comes to this level of play, it's not something seen too often. MaxPax just trying to stabilize and get into his third. Third Nexus now on the way. Much faster expansion for ByuN, already mining. As MaxPax attempts to rotate, but will bleed out one of those Phoenixes. Nice pick up here by ByuN. Does get a Phoenix. MaxPax making his way towards the main. And there's not much here in position. There's no turrets. There's no turrets here. SCVs are finally going down. MaxPax getting 4 SCV kills, sniping a Viking. Pulling out, headed towards the third, getting 2 mules. And even more SCVs as well. ByuN, he's getting pulled apart, just out of position. And being punished for not throwing down a single turret. Now we throw down some turrets, but the damage has already been done. 6 SCV kills. As ByuN throws down a turret to the natural, in the main, and now finally at the third base as well. ByuN, he was cutting corners. Now MaxPax does move out. He's got his Colossus. He has the air control with the Phoenixes. And will force ByuN back. So ByuN forced to be more defensive back at home. Turret does get a couple of hits off, but still 3 SCV kills. Bad by MaxPax. Behind this, diversifying his composition, working towards Twilight Council, towards charge, +1. Getting more Colossus, and working towards the mid-game. He's working towards that mid-game. And ByuN is still just building up, still saturating his third. It's still looking quite undersaturated. I mean, losing all those SCVs didn't help. Losing another. It's going to be 10 SCV kills in total. But once ByuN finishes up his upgrades, he can finally be active on the map. I'm referring to Stim, 1-1, combat shields as well, is finally all kicking in. But MaxPax, he recognizes just how defensive and how defendable ByuN has to be here in this time. And MaxPax, he expands, takes the fourth. Just takes the fourth base, taking an economic lead. The move out is spotted. We mentioned before that ByuN finally has all his upgrades. He can be active. As he moves out, Phoenix is a threat in a counterattack. Oh! They don't quite commit. They poke in. ByuN backs off. Ghost production has begun. Waiting for his ghost, waiting for EMPs. So far, MaxPax looking solid. And charge should finish up in time. I will say that this main army is lacking a little bit. I mean, there are 3 Colossus, don't get me wrong, but the support for the Colossus is still not quite where it needs to be. And that's where the charge also going to be coming into play. And still staying back at home. Splitting up his army, ready for a concave if need be. MaxPax poised for a zealot run by as well. And ByuN is getting his 4th CC up and running, so he's just slowly taking another expansion. Still taking more defensive role. MaxPax threatening a dive into the main. Not just with Phoenixes, with a Warp Prism as well. Uh-oh. The Prism is on the way. And he's going for the Warp in. The turrets are denied. And ByuN was not quite in position for this. Okay, turrets are going down. Cells, they bust into the mineral line. At the same time, MaxPax pushing up the ramp in towards the third. ByuN is ready. And ICMP. ByuN is in position. He defends the third base. Meanwhile, in the main, 6 SVs go down. The Prism falls. Nice pickoff. And MaxPax backs off. MaxPax, he did do some nice economic damage in the main, but doesn't break the third. He doesn't trade well enough against the main army. ByuN holds. ByuN holds. Now he can expand, getting a 4th CC. MaxPax still looking for a way in. Again, I don't really think MaxPax has too much pushing power. No without Storm or Disruptors. He's gonna go for it anyway. Ooh, massive EMPs. They connect with the Phoenixes and the Sentries. Yeah, ByuN coming in from behind, collapsing on the army. Isn't quite able to, though. Zealots are falling. The Colossus looking very exposed. But MaxPax, he gets away. Does pull back in time. At the same time, Zealots, they deny the 4th. They force it to lift. 9 SCV kills. 10 SCV kills. Not bad. ByuN, his economy still isn't where he wants it to be. Still building up. Just now establishing his 4th, which is late. MaxPax, meanwhile, on 5 bases. And now Disruptor production has begun. He's got the Novas, he has the Disruptors. Until then, I do think that MaxPax was looking quite vulnerable, but not anymore. Not with those Disruptors. Now he can push in. Still pushing into a tank line. Has to be careful. That's a 1 Nova in the chamber. Zealots dive in. Nova goes off. Raises the army. But MaxPax will lose almost every single Phoenix. Just pulling back. Now up to 3 Disruptors. Does lose a lot of his anti-air. Sure, ByuN is thinking of going into eventually Liberators. For now, just going to Viking production. As MaxPax does rotate. Disruptors are ready. Planetary under fire. Nova goes off. Takes down 1 Marauder. There's still 4 more Disruptors. 2 more shots going off. Getting a Cyclone. Getting another Marauder. Decent pickoffs. And MaxPax, he is maxed out. And ByuN, he's going to have such a hard time engaging whenever there's a Disruptor available. He can't just dive in. MaxPax pushes forward, Nova goes off. Decent connections. Oh my god, massive connections! ByuN losing far too much here. He might take down some of the Colossus. Oh, Disruptor's looking quite exposed as well. ByuN, he sims in. Gets 1. Gets 2. Not bad. Takes down 2 Disruptors. Able to catch out of the Colossus as well. MaxPax did overextend at the same time. DTs, they take down the 4th. Oh my god. Massive DT counterattack. The 4th base goes down. I mean, the 4th was already delayed, and ByuN, he's hurting. Forced to lift up one of the orbitals to land as the CC, as the 4th. Ay. As a result, ByuN, he's stuck at home, and MaxPax, he has time to rebuild. He's got the goal base, he has all these expansions. MaxPax has a massive economic lead. Did lose a lot of Disruptors, though, and that will take some time to rebuild. Likewise, Disruptors, they need support as well. To stop the Terran from diving in. MaxPax relying on a gateway heavy composition with those Disruptors. The army is revealed. Never goes off. And just zoning ByuN away. And just keeps zoning. Doesn't quite find any connections though. Nice splits out of ByuN. But it might still be too much. As ByuN's 4th base is denied, that's all that MaxPax has to do. Just deny the 4th over and over again. That is his win condition. Even going for the CC. Getting one Marauder at a time. More Novas going off. Zoning ByuN back. There's still, what, 3 Novas left? Oh my god. A little bit trigger happy there from MaxPax. No major connections, but the 4th base is denied. 6 SCV kills, ByuN still on a 3-base economy. Bleeding out Ghosts, bleeding out Marauders. Overtime, brutal losses. And I mean, this is the power of a high disruptor count. ByuN, he does step in though. He wants them. He's not going to get them. No shot. The Zealot's right just in time, and MaxPax, he overwhelms. He overwhelms ByuN. Takes down the ByuN, the SCVs. Marauders are coming to reinforce. Massive connections. And GG gets called. MaxPax takes game number 1. GG. GG, well played. Of course, we are not playing on the PTR, so Purification Novas, they do one-shot everything. They one-shot Ghosts, they one-shot Marauders, and all it takes is a couple of good Novas to just snowball out of control from there. So MaxPax does take a lead. ByuN, he just had a really hard time getting into the mid-game. Winding up back a little bit, one of the big factors, of course, was the delayed 4th. ByuN, his 4th base was delayed so often. He just could not embrace the solid economy. He could not afford these trades against MaxPax. And even though there was that one strong moment where ByuN was able to reset the Colossus count and was able to get a couple of disruptors, if you remember, it was at the same time that he lost 9 SCVs and lost his 4th. Or I should say he was forced to lift up his 4th base. So again, just that hindered economy was killing ByuN more than anything. So over time, he was overwhelmed. Over time, he was outscaled by MaxPax. GG. GG, well played. MaxPax does take the first game. And we'll see if ByuN can bounce back and force the ace match. Again, we have seen ByuN defeat MaxPax in the past couple of weeks in these tournaments as well, in the WardiTV Mondays, in these open cups. But it is always an uphill battle here. We'll see if ByuN can bring us to game 3, or if it all ends in a 2-0. We'll see. We shall see. So we are jumping into game 2. And spawning in the top right hand corner of Ghost River, we have the Danish Protoss player, the blue Protoss, representing Sidestorm Gaming, leading the series 1-0. It is MaxPax. And spawning in the top left hand corner, we have as opponent, we have the South Korean Terran player, the red Terran, representing Shopify Rebellion. It is ByuN. I mean, the eventual changes are going to be very interesting here. Again, the disruptor has been tweaked quite a bit over the past couple of years. Of course, there was the big change during the Gresfon map pool, the New Humanity map pool, where the disruptor went from, I think it was from 3 supply to 4 supply, if I remember correctly. Just because back then the issue was that Protoss players were able to amass so many disruptors, and it just became so oppressive. With that supply change, that did kind of get rid of that. That's also why there are currently talks about maybe reverting that supply change. What I'm referring to is because in the proposed patch notes, the disruptor won't be able to one-shot Marauders anymore. Then kind of like a balancing out of that would be to revert the supply change to allow for a more heavy disruptor count to be more viable like it was previously. I know that's kind of like one of the proposed alternate changes to help like balance that out. But yeah, I don't know, definitely something to think about when it comes to how the disruptor will change in the next patch. For now, ByuN going for a fake proxy. The Rax has been placed here outside of the main, hopefully trying to force MaxPax to overreact. But last he sticks around, he does spot the factory back at home, does spot the double gas opener, of course. And we'll see what ByuN can get done as the first Reaper is on the way. And MaxPax, he didn't even make the Zealot. Yeah, didn't even make the Zealot, did not flinch, chronoing out the first Stalker. Pylon has been placed here on the low ground. And we're getting into our more standard setup. They should revert it if it can't one-shot. Yeah. Like that's like I would say that's probably like the most popular consensus amongst players, like Protoss and not. Like if the disruptor won't be able to one-shot anymore, then they should just make it cheaper supply-wise. Just so the balancing act there would be that now you have more disruptors available, right? which would be necessary because you now have to have 2 Novas to take down a Marauder instead of 1. But we'll see. We'll see. We'll see what happens there. As for now, once again, Stargate. Once again, Stargate opener out of MaxPax. 2 games in a row as well. Bold move, especially on a smaller map like Ghost River. Winding it back a little bit here, talking about the opener of the last game. Stargate play and Phoenix play makes a lot of sense on larger maps because it is harder to punish. So it makes sense on a map like Alcyone. But on a smaller map like Ghost River, this feels a little bit greedy. And we'll see if we can get away with it. Reaper dives into the main. So far, the boys are being pulled. And the scout is delayed, but not denied. As the Reaper does dive in, does confirm the Stargate. And I'm imagining Phoenixes once again. So ByuN is aware. Behind this, getting into Cyclone production. Getting his anti-air ready. Initially, ByuN is going to have to deflect and defend. But we might see a more aggressive response. As a reminder, last game, ByuN, he just went into a faster 3rd TC and played a more defensive role instead. We could see aggression instead here on Ghost River. Would make a lot of sense. Would make a lot more sense here from the side of the Terran. We'll see. As Cyclones are moving out, they're hoping to try to catch out any stray unit. Speaking of, Phoenix up! Oh, it is going to pull back. MaxPax, he notices in time. ByuN unable to catch him. I like the positioning, but alas. MaxPax pulled away. Once again, we have a Robo follow-up, so it looks like Phoenix Colossus, 2 games in a row from MaxPax. Looks to be the case. As ByuN is still investing into additional Vikings and Cyclones. Interesting. We spoke earlier about how ByuN might go for a more aggressive response, and that's what we're seeing. Just mass Marine, Cyclone, Viking, ByuN rallying everything across the map. And we'll see if he can break MaxPax. MaxPax, what does he have? He has a shield battery here on the low ground, an overcharge, 2 pylons to keep everything powered. More Stalkers warping in. MaxPax, he did spot the army. He is aware. And MaxPax is getting ready. The Robo has arrived. He should be going for a Safety Immortal. If not, that'd be quite a greedy maneuver. There we go. Safety Immortal's on the way. MaxPax ensuring he has an army to defend instead of just rushing into Colossus. Phoenix is getting caught out. Massive catch. Late reaction here to MaxPax. One Phoenix goes down. Almost another. Yeah, sole positioning here from ByuN. Ooh, as there is no turret, SCVs are going down and ByuN is committing. Yeah, commits across the map. Second Phoenix falls. And what is there to defend? 1 Immortal, 1 Sentry. He has the overcharge, of course. Has the shield battery in position. Liberator does siege. And will be targeted down in time. It looks like it will. Liberator does fall. There's not enough freedom. And without it, ByuN, he has to back off. He cannot push in. He cannot break MaxPax. MaxPax so confident that he just takes the 3rd. He just expands. Goes down to 3rd base. The bay just finished for Colossus production. And ByuN needs to get more done. Does engage with the army. Going for the Immortal. The Immortal gets low. It looks like it will go down just barely with the lock-on. Yeah, lift's not in time. ByuN, can he keep going? Yeah, this time MaxPax fighting out of range of the shield battery. A little bit too greedy. Trying to defend that 3rd, and the 3rd is going to be denied. And ByuN can keep pushing. Does he settle for the 3rd base, or does he push towards the natural? Volcanoes does. Why not both? Expansion is going to be denied. There's a cancel on the 3rd. And he backs off. Okay, ByuN playing it safe. Doesn't get too greedy. Doesn't overextend. He backs off. Behind this, 3rd CC is almost done. Phoenix is a threat in the mineral line, but back there in ByuN, I mean, his main base is a little bit more exposed. But MaxPax doesn't dive in. Actually, MaxPax moving out with his main army. He's got that 1 Colossus. True. Takes down one of the Cyclones. Phoenix is from behind. Don't quite get the tank. As ByuN reinforces, and his goal once again is to cancel the 3rd. MaxPax, he catches reinforcements, but also Phoenixes are out of position. And ByuN is pushing in. The Phoenixes are not at home to defend. Tanks are within range of the space. It's going to be cancelled for a 2nd time. There's no way to hold on to this. No shot. No, it's Slowbots. Yeah, the base is cancelled. Pylon goes down. Ooh, Colossus overextends. Bit of miscontrol there from MaxPax. Does fly too close to the sun. 2 more probes go down. ByuN does attempt to reinforce, but only 2 Marines. Oh, that's a brutal loss. Tank is going to fall. And massive pickoff. He gets tanks. Gets 2 Marines. ByuN pulls back. MaxPax, he's still in this. He may have lost his third base twice. Phoenixes are gaining value. Catching tanks, Marines, Vikings, any and all reinforcements. Dragging back the army. MaxPax is trying to buy time. And he has built up to 3 Colossus. But the concerning thing is the support, right? Because of the delayed third base, because of the delayed economy, charge is still in the way, +1 is still in the way. MaxPax is still vulnerable. And ByuN could try to go for the kill. For now, he actually brings everything back home. Which means MaxPax, he can try to stabilize. His third base is going to get up. Which I do appreciate. I mean, again, ByuN, there's no need to overextend or force the issue and push into the third and push into the natural. ByuN, he has a lead. He just calm things down, establish himself. He's up on workers. He's up on bases. Up in army supply. ByuN just has to chill and minimize losses. Speaking of, gets a Phoenix. Gets 1. Gets 2. Gets 3. Oh my god, MaxPax! Yeah, this was not worth it. Losing 3 Phoenixes, cutting the Phoenix count in half. He got a Cyclone and a couple of Marines. Just now the third base is getting up. And MaxPax this time is not working towards Disruptors, is working towards Storm. Storm is on the way. But again, ByuN just has to chill. Just has to chill out. 4 CCs on the way. Ghost production has begun. It's not like ByuN is resting on his laurels. No, he's teching up. He's expanding, getting further ahead. And ByuN would be the first to max out. Now, when it comes to MaxPax, it's going to come down to the engagements. I mean, Storm has a lot of potential, just like Disruptors. Storms can pop off and can catch the Terran off guard and annihilate a bio-based army. Likewise, that's what the Ghosts are for. They can counter EMP. You have that dance between the spellcasters. On top of that, if ByuN is out of position, I mean, there is a War Prism drop towards the natural. There's a turret. More turrets on the way. This will buy time. ByuN responds. Doesn't really lose too much. It's 2 SCV kills. It's something. But again, that's what MaxPax has to hope for. You know, maybe when ByuN moves out, then MaxPax can move in. He can warp into the mineral line. Get some SCV kills. But ByuN is pushing. He is spotted by the Observer. By the Zealot. By everything. ByuN, he spots the 4th Nexus. Moving out with the drop. MaxPax does rotate. Does keep up. His 4th base is almost halfway done. ByuN backs up, getting his own 4th. Waiting for more ghosts. And ByuN is maxed. He has a 50 supply lead. Oh my god. Again, all because of the earlier damage. The delay on the 4th. Sorry, the delay on the 3rd. Catching out the Immortal. The trades against the Phoenixes. It all led to this. ByuN has been building a massive storm already though. Oh my god. Storm does connect. Tanks are going down. Yeah, strong start to the fight for MaxPax. Lands another storm. I mean, that was maybe the best fight that MaxPax could have hoped for. Like 2 good storms. Takes down all 3 tanks. And MaxPax, he's holding. It's going to be an uphill battle, but if he can survive a little bit longer, then he can stabilize. Here comes another storm. ByuN stimming in. Forces the storm out. Gets a kill on the High Templar. Does make his way up the ramp. Another storm. Some more High Templar morph in. ByuN going for a drop here on the right hand side, getting into the mineral line. High Templar to defend. And ByuN doesn't get much done. Again, ByuN has been maxed out for a while here, but he has not broken his opponent. And given a little bit more time and MaxPax, he'll be able to not just stabilize, he'll be able to break out. Break out and then counterattack. ByuN is on the timer. Another storm connects. Ooh, a brutal storm. feedback as well. ByuN losing a high energy ghost. Focusing on his drop. Does get some good economic damage. 9 probe kills, though he comes. The transfer gets caught out. Vikings, they push in. They get a Colossus. Nice pickup. 10 probes do fall. ByuN is getting some damage, but MaxPax, you can see that supply gap is closing. Oh! It's High Templar. Not bad. Gets one High Templar, but again, you can see how difficult it is to kind of break this position on Ghost River. The choke points are brutal. So you can be at a supply deficit and still defend, still take a fight. Colossus count gets reset. Massive EMPs on the Immortals. Yeah, High Templar a little bit too far behind. A much better fight for ByuN. Finally, he killed 3 Colossus there. 3 Colossus, 2 High Templar. Some brutal EMPs. And ByuN, has he finally done it? Oh, not quite. Pushing it into a concave. It's still brutal. Nice EMP though. ByuN gets High Templar. Another does come in to reinforce. ByuN, he desperately wants to try to push in, but he can't. Not like this. Working towards +3. More reinforcements on the way. Nice EMP on the Immortals. And where are the Storms? They're not ready. And High Templar, they're forced to feedback. That's all they can do. ByuN is so close to breaking MaxPax. But alas, he barely cannot. ByuN has to pull away, licking his wounds, still taking more expansions. Personally, I would love to see Liberator production. Like some Liberators, some Freedom Zones would be amazing in this kind of game state. But now though, ByuN just focusing on his Bio Army instead. While the High Templar are still gathering energy, there's only 2 High Templar, no Storms available. The Storms are not ready. ByuN trading decently well. Pushing into an overcharge. Oh god, yeah, we don't. We can't do that. ByuN overextending for a moment. Gets an Immortal. Bit of miscontrol from MaxPax. ByuN, he has to back off, he has to consolidate his army. MaxPax given a little bit of time here to build up energy on these High Templar. He now has a Storm. Oh, speaking of, he uses it to zone. There's another Storm in the back line. Nice pick off, 2 High Templar go down. There's the final Storm. And ByuN, he's finally done it. He's finally broken through. No more High Templar, no more Storms. He stims in. Another High Templar comes in from the flank. Well, these are better trades for ByuN. Gets another Immortal. And these are losses that MaxPax can't necessarily afford, but brutal EMP. GG gets called, and ByuN will tie the series 1-1. We are going to the ace match. GG. Oh my god. GG, well played. We're going to the ace match again. A lot of this just came down to momentum. I mean, I say momentum, it also came down to the map itself. I mentioned earlier, it was a very bold move for MaxPax to go for a Stargate opener on Ghost River, just because you can see just how aggressive and how suffocating it can be on Ghost River, just because it takes so little time for the aggressing army to move out across the map and to reinforce as well. But leading into that, again, the initial Phoenix opener was lackluster, didn't get too much done. A lot of Phoenixes went down, and we saw that ByuN pressed his advantage. He was able to deny the 3rd base, pick off the Immortals, and just maintain that pressure. Eventually, MaxPax did take a 3rd, but by the time he did, ByuN was already saturated on 3 bases, getting a 4th CC, and just maintained map control, maintained control of the game itself, and snowballed from there. Snowballed into a win. GG, well played. It was impressive again that MaxPax was able to defend despite having a 50 supply disadvantage. He was able to claw his way back in thanks to his High Templar control, of course, thanks to his Storms. But in the end, eventually, ByuN did overwhelm and did take MaxPax down. But now we're going to be loading into a much larger map. Up next, Site Delta. Much larger map, longer rush distance by ground, more bases to take as well, more wide open. So if MaxPax were to open up Stargate into Phoenixes, this would be a little bit of a better map for that. The chances of him being punished for it is that much lower. So we'll see what MaxPax goes for. Likewise, on larger maps like Side Delta, ByuN has been known to be quite fond of going for 3cc builds, like 3cc 3 racks. He's very fond of that build, whether it's on Side Delta, Alkione, even Post-Youth as well, which is kind of crazy, but I mean, ByuN, he likes to cut corners on certain maps. So he could try to revert back to that, but we'll see. We'll see if ByuN does go for a hyper greedy build or something different. We'll keep our eyes on ByuN. Here we go. Here we go. ByuN, where are the drops? ByuN, he just wants to kind of like brute force his way into the third. He was trying to force issue, and eventually he did, right? Eventually MaxPax broke just because of the advantage that ByuN had. So I don't blame him for not going for drop play. I feel like if he committed too hard to drop play, then that's where he could lose his advantage. We saw that MaxPax did have his High Templar spread out between his bases to storm. So ByuN was, yeah, more so going for the kill there. But here we go, we're getting into the ace match, and spawning in the bottom right-hand corner of Side Delta, we have the blue Protoss player from Denmark, representing Sidestorm Gaming, being forced into the ace match. Can he bounce back? Can he bring it back here and advance on to the grand finals? It is MaxPax. And spawning in the top left-hand corner, we have the red Terran player representing Shopify Rebellion, tying it up and forcing the ace match. Can he keep going? Can he keep up that momentum? It is ByuN. Here we go. As again, we have a much larger map. Because of that, something like Stargate Phoenix is more viable. Likewise, I mentioned before that ByuN has been very prone to go for a fast third CC on this map as well. But we'll see. We shall see. MaxPax has gone Stargate every game so far in the series. Now would be a decent time to switch it up and open up Blink instead. Or potentially something different. We'll see. The moves out. We do have our single gas opener, so ByuN going for a Rax Expand economic start out of our Terran player. MaxPax is attempting to confirm. Pulling back in, there's that CC on the high ground. So there's a bit of a give and take. It is an economic build here by ByuN, but is going to be slightly delayed, as it will have to float over. Will have to float down. And the question becomes... Ooh, factory. Okay. Not going 3cc. So just Rax Expand into a factory here for ByuN. Just a more standard economic opener. Meanwhile, our eyes are on MaxPax now to see the tech of choice. Twilight Council, Stargate, or Robo. What's it going to be? What is it going to be? We can see MaxPax scouting for a proxy. Checking towards the north. Making sure there's no crazy setup here from ByuN. And we have the answer. It is indeed Twilight Council. So it's going to be Blink-based opener here by MaxPax. Does make sense considering how the series has played out so far. I still do kind of stand by saying that, you know, if we were to open up Stargate, it would make more sense on Side Delta, more so than Ghost River, for example. But MaxPax does want to switch it up and does want to be more aggressive and more assertive here with some Blink Stalkers. Now the question becomes, how many gateways? 2-gate Blink, 3-gate Blink, or 4-gate Blink Stalker? As the other pokes in, does get eyes on the CC. MaxPax is aware. Meanwhile, ByuN getting into his own 1-1-1. Has not scouted at all. No SCV scout, no Reaper scouts. Because that makes sense for ByuN to make a Cyclone. Remember, every game so far in this series, we've seen a Stargate Phoenix opener. So ByuN is getting ready for that. Making sure he's safe and secure. Setting up for his own drop. Adept does shade into the main. Does shade in. Gets a full scout. Gets eyes on the add-ons. On the setup. The Adept even commits to the shade and survives a little bit longer. So very annoying Adept here, giving MaxPax a lot of information. and is now aware that a drop is coming. Oh my god, gets an SCV! That should not have happened. SCV goes down, drop is delayed, ByuN follows this up with a Banshee, with tank Banshee even. Okay, bold move. We mention this all the time, but tank Banshee, this has been a very common, or I should say very popular build here amongst a lot of the Korean Terrans, I mean Terrans in general, over the past couple of months. And it can hit very hard. Now, ByuN can take a couple of different approaches. He can either go for Banshee Harass as he pushes, or he can actually use the Cloak Banshees as a part of an anchor point for his main army, and move out with everything. So we'll see if he splits, or if he commits to the push. Oh my, he gets in again! That is brutal. The Adept shades in, and gets a full scout, and gets eyes, and confirms the Banshee and the Cloak as well. That should not have happened. And with that, Observer's on the way. Yep, Observer is on the way for MaxPax. How many gateways? 3. So 3 gate blink into a 3rd. Very safe play at a MaxPax as well. Is going to be pushing in. It's going to be keeping ByuN busy back at home. Keeping him pinned and contained. So again, the goal of 3 gate blink is just to contain the opponent, to maybe threaten a dive into a base, but not necessary. That's a lot of stalkers though. He blinks in! Oh my god! Blinks up the ramp. Takes some tank shots to the face, but does take down the bunker. Bunker does fall. Nice blinks, not losing any stalkers. MaxPax being as efficient as possible. I say that one stalker goes down, but the War Prison does dive into the main. Cloak was cancelled, makes sense, after ByuN got scouted. Did cancel Cloak, and did actually cancel the second Banshee. Interesting. So only one Banshee here. ByuN switching into Stim. Stalkers, they dive into the main. Tank goes down, and ByuN is getting pulled apart. Does punish somewhat, getting a Stalker. The Stalkers, they come in from behind, and yeah, MaxPax, he's popping up. Gets 6 SCVs. Disrupts the initial build. ByuN does at least find the Observer, does snipe it. But is going to be stuck at home. And again, his build was disrupted. Because of that, Stim is going to be a little bit later. His push as well. Wanted to move out earlier. And MaxPax is freely saturating his 3rd base. So a very strong start for MaxPax, getting ahead economically. Taking up towards Colossus. The base on the way. Charge, +1 with the Forge. Then coming up, MaxPax. Now, once these upgrades do finish up, ByuN can try to bounce back and try to fight for map control and go for some drop play, dropping into the main or dropping into the 3rd and trying to pull apart the attention of MaxPax. He will eventually get there. Eventually. Nice snipe on the Observer. Ooh, but the drop is spotted. I mean, they do spot each other. I'm getting in position. No warpins out of MaxPax. It's possible that he didn't notice himself. As ByuN breaks out. Gets 1 Stalker, 2 Stalkers, 3. Not bad. 4. 4 Stalkers go down. War Prism into the natural. There are reinforcements to defend. ByuN holds. And ByuN, he pushes out. And again, that was what? 4 Stalkers going down. That was a massive loss for MaxPax. Drop into the main, gets cleaned up. Ooh. Very nice shutdown there from MaxPax. He can focus on the main army. And ByuN backs off. Does back off. I appreciate the use of the Banshee. Using it mainly to defend against these run-bys with these drops. Doesn't really lose much of anything to the Zealots, but is forced back home. ByuN, calm down. Bit of miscontrol there. He kills his own tank. He wasn't supply blocked or anything. That was not intentional. Getting a little bit nervous. Take a breath, Pappy. Take a breath. That wasn't the first time either. I don't know if you noticed, but his own Banshee killed an SCV here as well. Did target his own SCV. It's been a couple of moments like that. Hopefully, ByuN can bring it together. So let's move that towards the left-hand side. ByuN trying to wrangle map control away from MaxPax. MaxPax still has a supply lead. As he's getting a 5th expansion, up 2 bases compared to the 3-base setup here of ByuN. Ay, ay, ay. MaxPax getting punished though. 3 extra foot stalkers going down. ByuN getting lured out. Colossus to engage, catching out so many Marines and Marauders. Oh my god. If ByuN overextending, GG gets called as SCVs are going down across the map, and MaxPax will take the series 2-1. Will advance on to the grand finals. GG. Unfortunately, no major final, no major fight or finale there to the game, but yeah, just some brutal losses by ByuN. Too much too quickly, of course, and MaxPax did just snowball out of control. Again, MaxPax, he was up 2 bases, he was up in economy, up in army supply. Just a very strong start for MaxPax to just constantly scout and punish ByuN's opener, referring specifically here to the Adepts constantly getting into the main, scouting, re-scouting, forcing ByuN to adjust, forcing him to transition and try to pivot away out of the initial tank cloak banshee push. And in the end, GG. GG well played. MaxPax will take the series 2-1. Congratulations. With that, we're now getting ready here for the upper semifinals. We're going to be jumping into Clem versus Trap. Let's go.